powered by Riverside FM.
Hi, welcome back to It's Not That Deep. I'm John.
And welcome to it's not that deep.com here at it's not that deep.com. So for today's topic, what are we going to talk about, John? I know you had something that you kind of wanted to bring to the table. Let's hear it.
Yes, so I want to talk about shifting your mindset for success,
Okay.
right? Like when, there's so many negative things going on in the world, and, sometimes things just kind of get to you, right? It's kind of changing that mindset, changing your attitude so that you can be successful.
Okay, I feel you. I feel you. What was it that kind of like, I guess, kind of brought this upon that you were like, oh, this is something you kind of been weighing on you want to talk about?
I think it's because I've just been around a lot of negative people, honestly. And I'm trying to build I'm trying to build multiple businesses. I'm trying to do a lot of things right now because I feel motivated, and I have that mindset, right? That we got to do it. We're going to do it, and we're going to somehow put all the pieces together and make it work, right?
Okay, okay, I got you.
But then, of course, there's people who are have that negative mindset and want to somehow portray those negative attitudes and negative thoughts onto another person, like for me, for example,
Yeah.
right? And so then you start becoming negative in your own way and allowing those thoughts to dictate your mindset and deter you from being successful in what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay, I got you. That makes
Right.
sense.
And so then I realized, yeah, you have to one let the negative people go, right? If they can't change or if they don't want to change with you, then you have to let them go, I think. Like for me personally, I have to just let them go, right? Because I'm not going to let anyone who's negative, affect me in my own world and stop me from accomplishing the goals that I have set forth,
That's right.
right? But two, you have to be aware and change your mindset, change your own attitude, and not allow the attitude and mindset of others affect you, where you're gonna go down that path of, oh, maybe it's not a good idea, or maybe it's not the right time, or maybe I can push this off a little bit. That kind of attitude, you really won't get far, right?
Yeah, that is true. Because especially that, like, if you push things off, if you're just like, you keep letting every little inconvenience just hinder you from completing your projects, getting yourself to where you need to be. I feel you. I mean, cutting people off can feel a little bit scary, especially if it's kind of out of comfort, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we depending on the people that you hang out with, everyone does end up affecting you, influencing you, whether you like to think of it or not. It is something that happens. So of course, you know what they always say, surround yourself with the type of people you want to be like. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals who have the same type of goals that want to achieve well. And I feel you. I mean, shifting into that mindset. So what do you think is kind of like the first steps for that? Obviously, I guess the first step is realizing and acknowledging that where you're at mentally is not where you should be. So then,
Correct.
how would you say, like, on your own journey, how have you transitioned, shifted, and such?
I think for me, every day I sit down at my desk and I'm going through my little checklist that I wrote for the morning, right?
Yes.
And it's a small checklist. It's not big, it's not a lot. It's just a small 5 or 6 things that I want to accomplish for my day. But in between those 6 things I want to accomplish, I always put my minor things that I want to accomplish, right?
Yes.
Though, and or really my major things. Let me just rephrase that. I put my major things. And I do that so that I have at least 6 mini wins for the day,
Okay, for you.
right? Because they're easy things I can accomplish, very
Yes.
easy, very quick. But everything in between are a little bit more, time consuming, a little more thought provoking. Like I got to do a little bit more to get those other things completed. But
Mm-hmm.
at least I have my 6 wins for the day and I feel accomplished, right?
Okay, I got you. I got you.
So then, but I wasn't even completing those 6 things
Mm.
because I was allowing my negative mindset, or the influence of being negative, not accomplishing, not thinking, well, I don't know, I can't. Maybe I can't do that right now. Maybe I'll just put that to this. Like I'll just shelf that idea for the moment. Rather than me thinking, okay, like allowing that mind shift change my thought process. Like, oh no, like I get that maybe it can't work this way, but let me think of it this way, right? Because one way or another, it can work, but how, right? So like it's just like I want to do this other business, right?
Hmm.
It's a beverage thing, and I'm thinking like yeah, the startup costs are a little bit higher than I perceived, right? Well, okay, cool. Well, at first I was like, well, let me just shelf it because I need to grow some funds, right? To be able to do
Yeah.
that, obviously, right? And maybe it's not a negative mindset, but to me it was negative because I'm like, well, why not just think of it as how can I get these funds rather than just put it to the side and wait.
That is true because I mean there are certain ways that you could do it depending on the avenue that you wanted to take it as. Because one thing about an idea is that you have an idea for something and you want it their certain way without realizing that there's multiple facets that you can turn it into.
Right.
Right? So let's say for a person that wants to make cookies, right? You
Mm-hmm.
want to make cookies and your whole mindset is like, oh, I'll make cookies and I'll sell them point blank, right? How are you going to do it? Where are you going to do it? How are you going to price it? All this stuff. Like, there's a lot of things that go into it. And then once you really start to think about it, then you start to be like, I don't know all the answers. Let me put it away until I know. That doesn't make
Correct.
sense. You need to tackle every avenue first. And let's say like this, like with the funds, right? Like with
Mm-hmm.
funding it, right? Let's think about that as something that can maybe be put on the back burner, but let's finish the rest of the dish, right? Let's
Correct.
start making the rice. Let's start making the veggies and such. Okay, funding. We know what is the goal to get to be able to fund this. Cool, right? We're working on that. That's sizzling in the back, right? We gotta
Mm-hmm.
let the noodles cook. Now we gotta get into the other part of it. So what are we looking at as like ingredients? What are we looking at as pricing? What are we looking at as like where are we gonna be at? All this and that. I think with a lot of
Exactly.
people, they tend to let themselves, and like you said, not so much that it's a negative attitude. It could be just a negative mindset. Sorry, it could just be in the moment you get overwhelmed because you want it so badly. You want it because you're like, this is something I really want to do, right? But because, in a sense, and this is for a lot of people, not necessarily you, but I've noticed it with a lot of people. If it doesn't come easily, for whatever reason, people think certain things do come easy, especially when it comes to starting a business and such. They tend to give up. They burn out
Yeah.
because it's not immediate gratification. And understanding that in life, you're not always going to get immediate gratification. That's why with your whole 6 mini wins versus 6 big wins, that's such a good thing. So instead of like over analyzing, overthinking, like, this big hurdle is in my way. Okay, yeah, but you still got to get these other hurdles out the way too. So
Exactly.
now we know
Exactly.
what we need to tackle with this big one, but now let's focus on the other ones in the meantime while we're letting this one cook.
Exactly. And so then that's what I was trying to convey because it's like you have people who are like, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's not going to work out because you don't have this and that. Like, no,
I
like,
don't like that. I don't like those people. Why
like
are they
that.
like that?
I know because I'm like, okay, I get that. But rather than seeing that as, what is it, like a negative output, a negative thing, like,
This is like an obstacle that cannot be moved.
yeah, see it as a challenge. See it
Yeah,
as a well, I think I can do that. Well, no, I know I can do that, right?
yeah.
I know I can accomplish X, Y, and Z. It may just take me a tad bit longer to get
Hmm.
there. That's perfectly fine. Everyone has their own timetable, right? And so I had to one set aside and realize I need to put these people in this category and these people in this other category, right? And sometimes it's family,
Hmm.
right? Sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's colleagues, it's whoever. And sometimes you just got to realize, okay, well, this person, I love this person, right? They're a great friend, they're a great family member, they're a great colleague. I love hanging out with them, right?
Love their butterscotch.
Exactly. But I cannot allow their mindset to influence my own mindset. So I'm
Hmm.
gonna put you aside for now, right? I'm
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and put the butter back in the fridge because I don't need it, right? But when I'm ready and when I need the butter, I'll go ahead and grab it out of the fridge, slice it up where I need it, and put it where I need it,
Hmm.
right? Because it's part of an ingredient. Just like how, life and friends and everything, or family members, that everyone has a purpose within your life. It just may not be within that moment,
True.
right? And so you need to realize and learn, okay, I need to put this aside and not allow your mindset, your thoughts, your personality for right now affect mine at the moment while I'm trying to build and grow, right?
Mhm.
And eventually you'll learn, like, I mean, I have learned and grown to where even if they did say something, it doesn't even affect me anymore
Okay, that's
because
good.
I know their mindset is different than mine, and I'm not gonna allow their mindset to influence my mindset,
Of course.
right? And so now I see things as, okay, how am I going to accomplish this? What is it going to take to get me to X, Y, and Z? I know I'm gonna have challenges. I know I'm gonna have obstacles. That's a guarantee. But like how you were saying with the people with business and that they get I call it's almost like stage fright, right?
Mhm.
You get so scared that you're like, I just won't do it,
Yeah.
right?
Do it once
And
I get the courage.
yeah, like once I get all the knowledge, once I continue doing the research, once I know all the answers, once I know,
But it's like
right?
you're not gonna know until you start doing it. At
Exactly.
the end of the day, you can say, I know how to swim. I see how people do it. I've read books. I understand it. No, you don't. Get in the water.
Exactly.
In the water. Show me. I want to see
Exactly.
it. Drowned. No, I'm kidding.
Damn.
But that's at the end of the day, that's what you need to do. You need to throw yourself in the water and try to swim. You could say, "Oh, I've seen Michael Phelps. I've seen everyone like all the techniques. It looks doable. I can do it." No, you
Yeah.
can't.
You know, I seen this TikTok of this lady, and I don't know who it was. Don't quote me on who it or whatever. But she was saying there's two differences between people who are successful and who are not, right? In their goals and what they want
Okay.
to do, right? She said the difference is this. If she talks to this person, let's just say it's the same person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they tell her that, oh, I love this idea, I want to do this, I want to start this and that, right? The difference between someone who's successful and not successful is when she talks to them in 6 months time, one side of the coin says, yeah, I started, I failed 100 times, but I'm still working on it. The other person, the other side of the coin says, yeah, I don't know, I'm still doing research, I'm still like trying to figure it out, I haven't started yet, but I'm gonna start. Do you see the differences between
I
that?
get you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. That's in my view, the successful person is the one who started and failed 100 times because of the 100 opportunities,
Yes.
right? And so maybe that 101 time it'll work, right? Compared to the person who's actually never started, they just did all the research. They had the know-how, but they have never done it. And so I think it's a mind shift. I think it's a mind change between the two that you're like, no, I just need to do it. I
Yeah.
just need to get it done. And so then that's when I think you start you start achieving success. It's
True.
kind of like you within your job don't want to go out there and market,
Mhm.
right? But if they were to have that mind shift change or change of the mind, I think they would be successful. They'd be like, you know what? No, I'm going to change my mind and say, no, I'm going to go out and market. I'm gonna receive at least one account. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna have a positive attitude. I'm gonna do everything I can, right?
Yeah.
And I think, or I actually believe that you would be successful. You may even get two or three.
I mean, at the end of the day, having a positive attitude and really putting yourself in the moment instead of just seeing it as like this is that is one big thing too that a lot of people do is like, especially when it comes to let's say like day jobs and such, right? They see it as like, this is just something I have to get through. This is just I have to do this for 8, 9, whatever hours, and then I get to go home.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the whole thing is too is like I get it. Sometimes we don't always want to be where we're at, but at the end of the day, that's on you. Your mind shift should come in and be like, if I don't want to be here, let me do something about it. And
Mhm.
that's what I did. I didn't feel like I was no longer gonna grow there. I felt like if I had stayed, I would have became way too complacent, and I truly would not have. I would not be able to be the person that I want to be, you know? And so what did I do? I took the opportunity the second I saw it, and I was like, I want to go here. As we are opening a new location, and it is opening in a few weeks, and I am going to it. I'm going to do what I can for the betterment of myself. Because at the end of the day, what I think a lot of people should also understand is like life moves on.
Right.
Life is going to continue. We're all gonna like grow. We're all gonna keep aging. Companies, corporations, X, Y, and Z are gonna keep going, whether you're there or not. Everyone's replaceable. And yes, you are valued in the moment that you're there. The moment that you're not there, you are no longer thought of. And so make yourself a valuable asset. Do your best for yourself. At the end of the day, once you clock out, that's it. That job has nothing to do with you. I don't even think about it. I block those people. But like don't call me,
To the
don't talk.
extreme.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Hey, but there's a lot of people out there that actually do that.
and I love that for them. Well, you know me, I have my focuses on. So the
Yeah.
second I leave, it's my personal. And so like right now it's the bedtime. Ain't nobody calling me. Ain't nobody telling me nothing.
Same.
But it's just that. I mean, at the end of the day, you're only gonna get as far as you like allow yourself to get. You know?
Mhm.
And understanding that, and this is another thing, kind of like what you were saying, is you do the research and you know it, yet you don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
It's been 6 months. What's going on, Catherine? Like,
Literally that.
this is something you want to do, but yet for whatever reason, it seems like I'm thinking about it more than you are. And
Maybe.
no, no, like that, like, and then it's just like, oh, it's because I've been doing research. I know how to do it. I know what I want to do it like, but I don't feel like I'm ready for it yet, or I don't have all the resources yet. I'm like, okay, what resources? And then they start naming it. Then they start telling you how they would do it, right? And so then in your mind, because whenever it's an outside person, you're able to think of it clearly, maybe more than the person that's in it. So you're like, okay, well, in my mind, I'd be like, okay, what about the initial funds? Like, how much would it cost? She could tell you it's going to be around this much to get started. The equipment for this is this, the ingredients or whatever, depending on what you want to do, right? Okay, what about advertising? It's like, well, advertising is pretty easy, especially with social media, XYZ. They start to name it off. And sometimes people do need an outside source to kind of remind them, like, hey, you got everything ready. You already know it. When are we starting? And it's always the most minor thing, or it's always a thing that they can always fix and or do
Yeah.
to be better
Yeah.
that for whatever reason they just don't ever do.
It's like that one, like the piece of the puzzle, the smallest piece of the puzzle to
Mm-hmm.
finish it off. And it's kind of they allow it to be a crutch. And I can't say I'm perfect because I've done it too. It's being aware, right? And you have to be aware and then put yourself in check. It's harder said than done. Don't get me wrong. But you have to just self reflect and say, hey, no, I can't allow myself to think that way. I can't allow myself to be that way. Like, no, let me go ahead and fix this. Let me figure it out. And it goes back to that change in mind. Like Catherine, she knows everything she needs to do. She knows how to get there.
By the way, Catherine is not a real person.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're just using the name as an example. But like, if she could just start, right, everything could just fall in place.
Especially with her being as knowledgeable as she is, researching, doing what she can to like know about the business. It's a passion project for her, and she would like to see it as like her main thing.
Yeah.
And so, if you know and you've done all this research, what else? What more research do you need other than actually doing it? Because knowing, like knowing about it is one thing. Doing it, learning from it is a
Mhm.
different thing.
Yeah. It's kind of like when I started my sensations, right? I did a lot of research. Like I would stay up all night watching YouTube videos and reading on the online, reading articles and stuff and, figuring how to do it and what it takes to start a business and going on YouTube, researching how to start a LLC. What does it take? What do you need?
Yeah.
Right? And then social media marketing, like what is it, how to do it, what do you need? And after doing some research, and I mean, I did spend a little too long doing research because that was my first business,
Yeah.
starting off. And I was scared. I was scared. I was weary. I was like, oh, I don't know. Let me just continue doing a little more research, doing this and that. Doing the drawing board thing. And you just gotta start.
That is true.
Eventually, you just gotta pull pull you know pull the rug or bite the bullet or whatever, buy some of the product and start,
Yeah.
right? So then I started off with that sample kit, try to figure out, is it actually easy or does it take a lot,
Mm-hmm.
right? It wasn't that hard. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it takes, you got to do a little bit of science, but like, it works,
True.
right? And I mean, it's definitely time consuming, don't get me wrong, very
Mm-hmm.
time consuming, but I learned over the course of starting that business until today a lot, right? I could have continued doing research. I could have been still watching YouTube videos. I could have still been reading books and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and never started. But it's a mind change. It's a shift in the mind saying, no, I'm gonna just start, right? Everything else I've learned on the way. There's some things that I learned there's a lot of things actually that I learned doing that I didn't learn in a YouTube video or in a book or in an article, right? I learned doing it or learn from someone who has already done it and they're just like not doing it anymore,
Hmm.
right? They're just, a resource, right? But it goes back to the I had to change my mind, change my understanding of or shift my understanding rather of okay, I did a lot of research. Do I continue doing that or do I just start, right? And I had to do it. I had to change my mind. And so it's kind of like doing the podcast. Like honestly, any business, any idea you have, you can do. It's just you have to shift your mindset into allowing you to do that, right?
Hmm.
Rather than allowing your mind to be negative and find so many reasons, so many obstacles, so many challenges as to why you can't.
As well as realizing that yes, it is a mindset change, and you have to be positive about it. You still always have to focus on, like, you eventually have to make it real. You have to make it physical.
Correct. Correct.
Because some people will be like, "Oh yes, like positive, right?" And then they'll start it, but they're not actually starting it. What they're doing is kind of like, whenever it's an open house,
Mm-hmm.
and then they put furniture in it. Like, what is that called?
Staging?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
it's like that. You
Oh,
know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
really starting your staging. You're making it seem as if that's what you're about to do. And
Yeah.
something what I think a lot of people do is because they um they make it such a big deal because it's like, let's say, a realization or a infatuation for the moment. You do your research, you find out it's not something that you really want to do. That's fine. Don't do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But if it's something where, because eventually, and it even goes for something that you want to do, eventually you'll start to feel like a drag because you're just like, I have to do it. I should do it. I have
Yeah.
to do it. I should do it. You know, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you do want to do it, do it. Because at the end of the day, you don't know if you're going to fail. You don't know if you're going to succeed. In this a world, in this day of age, anything's possible. Literally everything's possible.
The
So if still at this stage you still feel like, I can still put some time away, eventually I'll get to it. How long is eventually? And the real
mm-hmm.
question is, how long have you been waiting? How long have you been saying that you're gonna do it? That's
Oh, I like
that's
that.
when people start to really realize it's like, damn, it's been 10 years.
Yeah, like I've been trying to do like I've been wanting to do this for 10 years now, but I never pulled the trigger. I never started. Like, what
Never
is it
started.
gonna take to get you to start then?
That is true. And 10 years could be exaggerated, 5 years, a year, whatever it may be. Within 10 years, there was never a right situation.
Yeah, there's like never right time.
And that's the thing. It's not about whether it's the right time. It's about, are you ready for it? Are you going to make it the time?
Yeah, like it's kind of like okay, I know I bring up my sensations a lot, but
Yeah.
it's the thing I got to compare it to really.
Yeah.
I had to make time for that.
Really do.
Sometimes I'm up till 2 o'clock in the morning hand pouring these candles.
That's true, y'all. He don't let me sleep.
You
No,
know what I
okay.
mean? Like I have my music blaring to stay awake, and I'm
Yep.
tired. I'm so tired, but I'm pushing through it because I know, like, one, I have to do it. I
Yep.
have no choice. I make sure that I have no choice. I'm like, no, you have no choice. You're gonna do it, right? Like that's how I talk to myself. I'm like, nah, you're gonna do it. Two, I want to do it really. Like it's really enjoyable doing making those candles and stuff like that. And three, it's a source of income. So like
Like, I mean, it's your passion project. In a sense, it's like a job. It is your job. You'd have to put in the work for it.
correct.
But I mean, and that's just a thing that some people, it's kind of hard to shift your mindset and realizing that you do have to put in the time for it. You do either have to make sacrifices for yourself. And that's what a lot of people don't do, is that it's hard for them to sacrifice for themselves. It's like that meme, or it's not a meme. It's kind of more of a saying. It's like, you would get up at 3 a.m. to go pick up your friend from the airport, but yet you wouldn't wake up for at 6 a.m. for yourself to go to the gym because that it's going to the gym is something you've been wanting to do. You want to become like a fitness person, right? Funny enough,
Mhm.
I met somebody that wants to be like a fitness influencer, right?
Mhm.
And so I was like, "Oh, that's so cool," because I like to go to the gym. I don't think that would ever be an avenue for myself, but I was like, "How is that mindset? Like this and that." Like I was just trying to like hear them out,
Yeah.
because I think that's so interesting. And so they were like, "Yeah, they had said they used to work out all the time and such," and I was just like, "That's really cool." And they're like, "I'm about to get back into it, but I think I want to become like a fitness influencer." But in offline, she wants to be like a fitness person that kind of helps people train. So like a trainer.
Fitness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And she wants to like do it online as well to kind of like help promote like healthy living and kind of make it more accessible for people. I think that's really cool. And so hearing her so passionately about it, right? Mind you, I just met this person.
Yeah.
Um, and then just like, cool, cool, cool. I'm excited to see where this goes. So I told her that I was like, I'm excited to see. Let me know when you start, because genuinely, it's always interesting to see people's like workouts and like how they do it and to like their style. Because
Yeah.
everyone has such a specific style when it comes to working out. So I was like, I want to hear this. I want to see this. And so I think sometimes people need that, like, I want to see it. I'm gonna be waiting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think a lot of people keep it to themselves. So they don't feel that other people would ever want to see it or acknowledge
Yeah.
it because you keep it to yourself. If you tell people like I want to be an influencer or I want to build this business, I want to become a doctor, there's always going to be someone in your life that's going to be like, I want to see it.
Yeah, there's a few of them, but you see, the reason why a lot of people don't actually say things about it is because there are more negative mindsets than positive mindsets. Someone
I get
who's
that.
influential of saying like, "Oh, I want to see that," or "Yeah, when are you gonna do it?" Like, I want to, participate. I'm excited for that. Like,
So
genuinely excited for you.
there could be those people that are could be negative, and what could they still say? I'd like to see it happen. You see what I mean?
Mm,
Because at the end of the day, you
that
don't
was
know what
cool.
intention a person has whenever they're talking to you.
Oh yeah, for
She could
sure.
have taken my genuine happiness for it, my genuine interest in it as something maleficent. You know,
Yeah.
she could have just thought like,
Oh, she definitely could. I could see that.
you see what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
never
yeah.
know a person's intention. So, mindset wise, anything anyone says to you, you should never let it affect you. If it's a positive like remark, that's sweet. Thank you. Appreciate it. Keep it pushing. If it's a negative remark, thank you. Or not even thank you, just like have a good day. Or have the day you deserve. Keep it pushing
Literally
at
that.
the end of the day because at the end of the day, like you said, this is some like it can be if it can be a source of income, which you need to understand, these people don't pay your bills.
Legit that.
You might not see this person ever again, especially if it's just a passerby. If it's like a family, friend, and such, rethink. Is this a person I really want to have close to me? For one. For two, is this a person I want to keep up with or have them keep up with me? You know what
Legit
I mean?
that. Mm-hmm.
Because yes, be happy about it. Scream it from the rooftop. There are certain people in your life that don't deserve to have your updates, that don't deserve to know how good you're doing, how bad you're doing, how mid you're doing.
Literally that.
So sometimes and this is something for me as well that I've learned is sometimes you can keep things to yourself, write it down in a book or say it out loud to the air and let it be. You know what I mean?
I genuinely agree with you. Genuinely agree with you because um there's some people who are like, "Oh, how many candles you sell?" Like, they're trying to be, like you said, maleficent or, conniving or whatever. But then there's people like my friend, in Florida. I sent her a few products and she's like, "Oh my God, they smell great. Like, I just opened the box and everything's amazing. They look amazing." And she's already taking pictures. She's getting everything ready for her to put on her social medias and, stuff like that. And then also there's like, I just went and had like a family vacation or whatever.
Hmm.
And I gave them a few products, and of course, I give the products to these people because I know that they have social media. Everyone has social media, but they can reach other people that I can't reach, right? Because they have a different friend group or a different group than me. So they're taking pictures, they're doing their thing, putting it on their socials. And so what I'm hoping is that with all these pictures and these tags coming from different socials that the algorithm kicks in and starts pushing it out, right? That's the game plan. But back to the main focus there is that there's people who are willing to go above and beyond for you compared to the people who just are there. They perceive to be this amazing person or whatever, or a great, friend or family member or, coworker, but really they're looking towards your downfall in a sense, right?
Yeah,
And so you just got to be able to tell the difference.
be a person you want to have with. No,
Yep.
I'm kidding. But at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, having a mindset that understand like, yes, one, anything's possible, and two, you are able to do it. Whether
Mhm.
you want to be this, you want to be that, you want to create the second Eiffel Tower, whatever it may be, everything's possible.
Yeah, you want to
Possible,
go
and you
do
can do it.
film. You want to go to art school. You want to
You want to be a furry, do it.
literally that.
Be the weirdest person ever. Be the coolest person ever. Who cares?
You'll make it on socials. Go on
Yeah.
TikTok. You'll make it.
Just at the end of the day, you need to switch your mindset and understand that everything is possible and that eventually you have to take it out of your head and make it a reality. You got to be able to really say, like, okay, I know, I know 80%, 70%, hell, even 50%.
Literally that.
It's time to start. It's time to get it going. It's time to, like, if you want to be influenced, turn the camera on. If you want to be a
Hmm.
doctor, start applying.
Just do it. Change your
Just,
mind. Just
just
do it.
do it.
Literally that. Like, just turn your mind off for a moment and
And just
just
do it.
do it.
You already know how to do it, right? Put
Yep.
it into the code and go autopilot and just start doing it.
Yep. Literally that. Just change your mindset for a second. Just turn it off. Turn your brain off for a second. And
And
rather than,
also, you know
hmm,
what I've heard? Give yourself a time frame, a realistic time frame to do something.
oh, that's what I do on my Monday app.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go in there and I'll type in uh, first thing, type in all my stuff in there. And
Hmm.
then on the right hand side it has like a calendar or whatever.
Yeah.
And I go in there, I'm like, okay, I give myself to Thursday, I give myself to Friday, I give myself to Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I'll keep up with it. Like, I'm very we're like self-efficient almost where
Accountable.
yeah. Yeah, I keep myself accountable pretty much.
Hmm.
And until it comes out to working out, I'll tell you what.
And I mean, hey, there's strengths and areas of opportunities.
Literally
We don't
that.
call it weaknesses, areas of opportunities.
But like I'll keep myself accountable with that. And but
Yeah.
I give myself a time frame. And sometimes some of my time frames are weeks out, and that's okay
Yeah.
because you're not gonna tackle it this week. You're not gonna be able to tackle it next week. But the third week, you set time that entire week to knock that out, right? And
Yes.
you have no reason why not to accomplish it because you're giving yourself a week, 2 week, 3 weeks that you can even start mini working on it before then,
True.
right?
So I mean that setting yourself, and it has to be realistic
Oh yeah, for sure.
deadline. So let's say a person that wants to cook, you want to become a chef, right? Like your whole thing is that you want to be a chef, right? Let's say you want to enroll yourself in school. You got to understand the basics, fundamentals, and such. If you want to start a business, do the research. But to give yourself, let's say 2 weeks. That's
Hmm.
reasonable. 2 weeks to do research because obviously in this day and age, everyone's working and or going to school. Everyone has things that they have to do, they have to accomplish to survive, pay rent, X, Y, and Z. But give yourself some time, but
Hmm.
don't let that time extend. You
Yeah.
give yourself 2 weeks, make the time after work or before work or X, Y, and Z to do what is needed price.
Correct.
Learn to prioritize yourself. If someone says, "Hey, you want to go hang out? You want to go do this? You want to go do that?" Yes, you want to, but at the same time, think about it like this. If you go out tonight knowing you had a good, let's say, 5 to 6 hours free time to be able to put some time into yourself, into the projects that you want to create, or go out. Granted, going out, it's fun, great. You make
Hmm.
memories, but can you go out another time? You see what I mean? You
Yeah.
gave yourself 2 weeks. You yourself promised yourself that you have 2 weeks
Yeah.
to make it happen.
Yeah.
For as soon as you know, or like for as much as you know right now, tonight is the only night that you're gonna have the most time to be able to put into it, other than your day off. But what
Yeah.
do you have to do
Tonight
on
could have
your
been a breakthrough night,
could have been.
right? It
But
could have
at
been
the
the
end of the
breakthrough
day,
moment.
everyone's different. Everyone works differently. Always remember that you need to invest in yourself. Because at the
Hmm.
end of the day, your friends are going to they be there to support you, but your friends are not going to be the ones doing the research for you. They're not going to be the ones up at like till 2 a.m., 3 a.m. making it for
Yeah.
you. You need to
Yeah.
be able to make sure that you're able to invest in yourself and put yourself first and understand, you know what? I would love to go out, but I can't go out tonight. I gotta do this.
Legit that.
And hell, maybe that friend will be like, oh shit, I didn't know you were gonna do that. You know what? I just wanted to hang out with you. How about I just come over and then we could like I could just be there and
Yeah, or we
if
could
you
do it
need someone to
together.
bounce off ideas with. You
Yes.
see what I mean? Because at the end of the day, people sometimes can be scared to say like, oh, it's because I really wanted to do this. Like, well, speak up. A closed mouth don't get fed. Open
Legit
your mouth.
that. Actually, I'm sorry. Like, I have plans to get this shipment ready. Like, I'm sorry. You know what? I think, let me be real. I think real friends would actually be like, you know, let me help you real quick.
Yeah, like what do you need help with?
Yeah, like, you know what? Let me do something right quick, right? And I think that because they want to be, I think to me personally, I think my friends, like if you're my friend,
Wait.
I would do the exact same thing. I would reciprocate. That if you told me you wanted to do something, I'll be there with you doing it because I want you to be successful as you want me to be successful. I believe in this. We should all be successful together because we're working together to get there,
Yes.
right? And that's a real friend group, right? That's real friendship right there, right?
Yes.
And that's why they say choose your friends wisely. Choose the people you hang out with wisely. Choose your partner wisely. Because all that plays into how you perceive yourself, perceive your success, perceive your life, right? And
Yes.
that's how you achieve greatness. That's how you achieve success within your own way. And those people will also influence your mind.
Exactly. I mean, but yeah. So that's kind of been our kind of brainstorm when it comes to changing your mentality. Mentality is a huge thing. Mental health is a huge thing. Always make sure, yes, we want to climb that mountain, but you can't always climb a mountain on a go, like going once. You need to take your breaks. Make sure that you prioritize rest and wellness. And yeah. So I mean, that's kind of been that. What do you think, John, when it comes to any last minute words? Anything you want to leave off on? A
Yeah,
quick advice.
I will say this. Like you said, don't forget about wellness within your own mind. If you feel like you need to take a break, take a quick break. Don't overwork your mind to allow burnout,
Hmm.
right? To kind of, reflect on the people you have around in your life and the ones you need to set aside for a moment so that you can achieve everything you want to achieve, right? Allow the ones that are going to be positive and help you push forward closest to you, and the ones that are good for a good time are good for a good time, right? Like, when you're ready
Yes.
to go out and have a good time, they're going to be there to have a good time. That's their
Yes.
purpose, okay? We all have purposes in each other's lives. That's their purpose.
Purpose.
And last,
But certainly not least,
keep pushing. Keep
keep
pushing.
going.
Don't stop. And it's just, if you have that idea, just start it. You can read the entire encyclopedia, the whole Wikipedia websites. Just start it.
Mhm.
Change that mindset.
Always remember, best revenge is your paper.
Paper.
But yeah, so that is our thoughts on changing your mindset for success. I mean, in general, everyone's a work in progress. You know, we all want to be successful. We all want to be the best versions of ourselves. But yeah, keep that dialogue going. You know, if you want to comment something below or DM us or such, definitely all socials are It's Not That Deep. Here it's notthatdeep.com. But yeah,
Yeah.
so this is Danny
This is John.
and we have a cat here, Amare. But yes, I appreciate y'all for listening. Of course, if y'all want to keep the conversation going, or if you want to come up with a topic that maybe we can have a conversation about, definitely let us know.
Yes. And just follow us on our socials.
Yes, it's not that deep.com.
Yes, it's not that deep. So just follow us and give us a like and get ready for the new updates.
Well, thank you. Everyone have a good one.